What's going on, YouTube? What do we got for today? Today we've got a look at a brand new tank. This is a rebuildable tank atomizer from a company called Ohmega. This is the Ohmega Alpha BFT. Let's get to it. Come on.
Tell me like a Hellcat.
Hey YouTube, what's going on with you today? Big D, Big Rig Vaping back at you here. Looking at this lovely little tank from Ohmega Mods. This is the BFT. Now, I'm not exactly sure what BFT stands for, but I can tell you it's one big fucking tank. Now, that being said, this cat is huge. It's a 30 mil rebuildable tank, and it's a monster. It's got a big monster deck. I'll show you that. I've seen a couple different places telling me about juice capacity. One reviewer, Mike Vape, said he got 8.5 in there. I will tell you that there's a trick to get more e-liquid in there, but we'll go through that later. I was able to get 10 mils in here. Now, how do I know it was 10 mils? Because I put 8 in there, was able to get a couple more. So there you go. Today I've got it sitting on top the Ohmega stacked 18650 tube mech mod. This is a series mod. Currently in here I've got a build that ohms out to about 0.35. I know it's a little bit low, but shit, it's a big ass coil and it's what I could get in here. It's vaping like a champ. I got good batteries. I'm doing all the good things, so let's have a vape on it. Man, this tank is just fogging it. It's just fogging it. I'm not going to go up close with it today. I don't have a setup. I need to get a tripod idea. This truck doesn't have space to get really up close, but what I am going to do is I'm going to semi break it down. I just filled this thing. I don't want to empty the tank, so I'm not going to totally break it down. I might, I don't know. Let me see what happens. So anyway, let's see what we can do. I'll be right back in just a minute. We'll see if we can take a closer look at it. Alright guys, I did go ahead and drain this thing. What the hell, let's go ahead and break it all the way apart. I'm not going to be able to do it real close up for you, but you can see just about everything you need to right here. I'm going to do it real nice and close for you. As you can see, it's got a removable drip tip. We'll take that off real quick. This is not a 510 drip tip. This is considerably larger than a 510 drip tip. It does appear to be Delrin or a hard plastic, but it does fit on there really well. As you can see, it just goes right into the top cap. Big freaking hole right there that it is. This does have a top fill design, so let's remove this big honking plate. This thing is about the size, I don't know, of a 50-cent piece. It's just monster huge. And that exposes 2 kidney-shaped fill ports there at the top, where you can just, you know, bung your juice down in there and put it back on, and you can screw this guy back down, and there you go, you're good to go. Now, take a look at the bottom of it. It does have a nice, beefy, protruding 510 connection. Obviously, I don't have any problems running this on a hybrid mod. It does have, as you can see, it's got the Delrin peak insulator rather around that pin, and it's just real nice and beefy. There at the bottom you can see it does say the Alpha BFT by ohmegamod. Then there's a serial number, and there you go there. Airflow holes at the bottom are not adjustable, but to be honest with you, in my opinion, they're perfect. I wouldn't want them any tighter or any bigger, and there's two, one on either side. The cap at the top does have a bit of knurling on it, as you can see, to help you get it off, so you can top fill. Personally, I bottom fill. You can bottom fill this tank, and I'll show you. We'll take the bottom off real quick. The good thing I like about this tank is you can remove the bottom piece with it full of juice to work on your build deck, and you don't have to empty your tank. Very nice design how they did the chimney section in there. You got it mounted securely in place, and there's your build deck. So as you can see, O-ring there on top of the glass. That glass is removable for cleaning, so you can pop it off if you needed to. But what I do is I just put the juice in between the glass. Hold on a minute. I always forget to cut the CB radio off. Anyway, but you can see I just put my juice in between the tank glass and the cylinder wall there, and all that good stuff, all that jazz. Let me grab some tweezers, and we'll take this wick out. It needs to be re-wicked anyway, and we'll show you what it looks like. I guess it really didn't have to be re-wicked that bad. It's not that bad. I thought it was worse than that. Well, there you go. Let me try to clean it up a little bit for you. Blow some of that water off that coil. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. As you can see, it does have the velocity deck as we've been accustomed to seeing. Phillips head screws there at the sides to hold that coil in place. And it does have the Kennedy style airflow, as you can see, 2 kidney shaped holes. And of course, those kidney shaped holes relate directly to the holes on the side, as you can see. Nice big deck on this. This is a dual staple or a fused Clapton build. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 wraps on this, and it's 3.5 millimeter pin. So as you can see, that is one big beefy honking ass build. Love it. Haven't had a problem with it. So there you go there. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna re-wick this thing, and we'll come back and I'll fill it up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Alright guys, we're back. We're gonna wick this thing up. I'm just using some Japanese organic cotton. I figured I'd do this on camera. I'm waiting to get loaded, so I'm trying to kill time anyway. So what the hell. What I usually do with these cotton pads is I like to peel that outer membrane off the front and off the back. Both sides of it, I peel that outer membrane. Some people say that wastes cotton.
Say a command.
Shut up, GPS. I happen to think that, in my mind, it doesn't waste cotton, that it actually improves the wicking. And what I like to do when I get that off is I just kind of, fluff it out a little, stretch it out a little bit, get it just a little fluffy. Alright, I got a big coil in here, so I want to take about a quarter of this wick, like that, yeah, and we're going to take it and roll it up, kind of like you're rolling a roll your own cigarette or a joint, for those of you out there that partake, now you know. And I just kind of twist the end like that, real tight, and stick it right into that coil there, and we're gonna pull it nice. There we go. Now what I like to do is there at the ends, they've got to go in these juice wells, and I don't know if you can see those juice wells or not. Maybe you can, but what I like to do, the juice well is basically at the bottom of the build deck. I just kind of put my cotton down like that, kind of visualize where those are going to be, you know, kind of guesstimate. Yeah, that looks about right. Then I'll guesstimate on this side right here. Yeah, that looks about right. And then I'll give her a snip like that. So, alright. Now, usually I don't have enough cotton. I got that little nibbit of cotton. So I got to come back and get my sheet back out. What I just do with my, there they are. There's my little snips. And I'll take a, I don't know, another quarter of that or maybe a third of it. I just kind of guesstimate. Roll it up again like we're rolling a little doobie. Try to get the same amount of cotton as I had before, because I want it to wick the same. My son gets on me about that. Dad, you don't get your cotton the same. One side wicks better than the other side. What are you gonna do? Okay. And just kind of do the same. Kind of eyeball this. Now, if you wick it this way, the way I'm doing, as you guys know, I use Max VG e-liquid. I have not had a problem with wicking. I never get dry hits. Always wicks really well. I don't have any leaking issues unless I do certain things, and I'll go over what those certain things are here in a minute. But let's clean this up just a hair. They're loading my truck, so it's shaking me all over the place. Get all the fuzzies off. And what I do is I just kind of tuck it in. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just kind of pack it in there. Get it. You don't want to cram it super tight in there, but you do want to get it down in that little cavity. Alright, it's got to get in those juice flow canals. Doesn't have to be packed in there, and you don't really want it packed too hard, but you don't want it just laying in there, because you don't want to get no leaking. So you want a good amount of wick on this. Guys, don't be afraid to throw some wick in this, alright? Because you're going to need it. You've got big fuck all deck in this thing. You've got a lot of juice cavity in here, juice control cavities to fill, so it needs to have some cotton. Alright, I know normally we always go by the principle that with wicking, less is more. Well, not in this case. In this case, you want to make sure that you get some wick down in that, like that. Now, I'll show you that real quick. There's some lighting on that, maybe you can see. Thankfully the sun's coming through the windshield and you can see something. Maybe, I don't know. Camera position sucks. I really got to get a better way of holding my camera, but hopefully you can get the basic gist of it. Also, we're going to go over some e-liquid today. Today, what am I vaping on today? Today we've got this Johnny O's Blueberry Crunch Glazed Donut. Oh yeah, some good stuff right here. This is from Johnny Copper Vapor Company. So, favorite retailer of mine. No, they don't pay me to say that. but they are good people up there, and we're going to have a little taste of their e-liquid here today. And I can tell you, it's some proper stuff. And what I do is I just kind of paint the coils, okay? I get them where they're starting to get a little wet, and then I tip it, and I dab some down on here. I make them nice and wet. I use that juice kind of as a glue to hold that wick in that channel, right? That's what we want to do. Kind of use that juice as the glue that binds, and it'll do a fine job of holding that cotton in there. And we're gonna just gob it on, right? We're gonna make it nice and gooey and wet and happy, and there you go, fully wicked, good to go. And now we can put it back on our tank. Now before we do that, what we need to do is fill our tank. Alright, now I do it upside down. You can use the top flow, but I have found that if you use that top thing, every time you screw that top juice container cover cap thingy back in there, what you're basically doing is, it's like a syringe. It's basically shooting all your e-liquid right out the bottom. Also, doing the top fill method, you can only get 8.5 mils of e-liquid. You turn your tank upside down, you'll see there's a gap. As you do it this way, there is no gap. I'm filling the gap all the way up, so I don't have a gap. I'm able to get more e-liquid by doing it at the bottom. So you just fill it up to the bottom of the where the chimney starts. Put your cap back on. You get it on kind of straight because it's big. There we go. And just screw it right back on. It's real easy to do, and you get literally no leaking. Every time I've done it this way, I've never ever had it leak. Put it on there good and tight, never had it leak. If you top fill this thing, I promise you it'll leak every time. I don't care what you do. Mike Vapes did a thing where he screwed it down a little bit, and then he turned it and screwed it in some more. You know, you can do that. I tried it a few times, still leaked. So I couldn't figure out a way to do it top fill that it didn't leak. But we'll go over that in a minute. That's going to be one of my cons. Put it back on my device. Like I said, nice, big, beefy 510 connection. Oh, good flavor on this, guys. This Johnny O's blueberry crunch glazed donut is well, it's good. Get blueberry right up front with it. I get some of that almost like a crumble or a streusel, and then that pastry donut. It's cloudy as hell. It's good stuff. Yeah, get you some of that. Alright, well, that's basically what we got. Let's go over some pros and cons. Alright, basic pros and cons. Let's do the pros first. I like the way it's a top fill, although with that con, or with that pro, I got to give it a con, and we'll go over the cons in a minute. It is top fill design, nice airflow, protruding 510 connection. Guys, this thing is beefy. It did come with an extra glass tank and a nice pretty box. There's the box for it. Let me set it down here. And it's got a magnetic closure on it. It came with an extra drip an extra drip tip, an extra glass tank, and some spares. It came with some pre-made coils that I just threw in there the first time. Some Clapton coils, really nice coils, right out of the box, ready to bake. Okay, so I like the way that they give you the extra parts. That's a pro. They give you an extra drip tip, an extra glass tank, extra screws, extra O-rings. All of those are good things to see. It is a big, beefy bitch. Alright, this thing, like I said, is 30 millimeters. I'm not even going to break the calipers out because there's no sense. It's just big. It's as you can see, it's sitting on the top of this 18650 ohmega, and it's got a big ass overhang. They've got an 18 or a 26650 ohmega that would fit this perfectly. I just didn't get that one. I got this one because I liked it. Vapes really well. Yeah, there's a review coming for the mod as well. So, cool your jets. Not today, another day. What else can I say about it? Nice deck. It's got a big velocity deck on it. Airflow's good. Man, I mean, it's a nice tank. There you go. Cons. Alright, I've got 3 cons only. And this is one of these is really nitpicky. Number 1, the build deck. The Phillips screws. I don't like Phillips screws. I find that my screwdriver doesn't fit in there really well sometimes, and I gotta really push and push to get a good tight grip to get those tightened down on these big fuck all coils I got in this thing. That being said, sometimes you could end up stripping them out. They do give you some spares. I would prefer to see Allen heads because, in my opinion, Allen heads, you can kind of tighten them up a little bit better. If you got the proper Allen head wrench, in my opinion, they work a little better. That's a personal preference. You guys might like the Phillips screws. If you do, she comes with spares. Have at it, okay? Another con. What's the other con? The drip tip. It's not a 510 drip tip. And it doesn't come with a 510 adapter. Now guys, this thing is basically a dripper in tank mode. Alright, so you can put some big massive coils in this, crank up the wattage on this thing, and pull some massive vapor. It's got plenty of airflow for it, so a 510 drip tip may restrict. You know, it's not an O-ring on this. It's a compression fit drip tip, and it does come with a spare one in case you lose it. Just would have been nice to have a 510 adapter in case you wanted to throw your fancy schmancy, you know, drip tip on it. Alright, now, my third and final con. And I say this one for last because this is the big one. I don't like the execution of the top fill method. Ohmega, you guys should have executed that a little bit better. You don't have any way to shut off your juice control, and I understand why, because it would obviously add more cost to it. It would probably impede in the design, overall design, which is very simple and it works really well. I don't know, but you got this big plunger for a top cap. When you screw it on, you're basically acting like a syringe and pushing all this liquid, and it's got nowhere to go but out the juice flow holes. It would have been nice to see it executed a little more. Maybe a removable rubber plug at the top through a hole, so you can put the big fuck all cap on it and then squeeze your juice through the hole. I don't know. Just an idea. Maybe make a notch in the threads so that it doesn't actually pressurize until the very last minute with an O-ring. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I just review what's in front of me, and I have found that bottom filling, you don't get a leak. Top fill leaks every time. In my opinion, and I've talked to a couple of guys, both of them one of them is an owner of a juice shop or a vape shop, and the other one is a manager of a vape shop. They both agree, they both have used this tank, that could have been executed a little bit better. But that's it. Excellent flavor. Big ass juice flow holes. Basically, you're getting a dripper that holds a fuckload of juice. It's easy to build, easy to wick, simple to re-wick. You just turn it upside down and pop the bottom off of it, set it aside. Hell, the big ass damn top sits up by itself. You don't have to worry about knocking over. Take your drip tip off and just set it on the counter. It'll sit there till the cows come home. I can set it on my dash, which is not level, while they're loading my truck, refill my shit, and then I even move because it's pretty heavy. But it does a good job. So yeah, all in all, at the end of the day, would I recommend it? Yes. It gets 4 out of 5 stars for me, because I really would like to see those 3 things fixed. If you fix those 3 things, include a 510 pin, or not a 510 pin, but a 510 drip tip adapter. Throw some Allen head screws in there with the Phillips head screws, so that if I don't like the Phillips head screws, I can take them out. Throw a couple of a couple of those in there, and go back and fix this top fill method. It's a perfect tank. It's got excellent flavor. Like I said, it's almost like dripping. It just does the job. And as you can see, I've got it on a series mech mod. I just put these batteries in there 10 minutes ago. It keeps up. I mean, it's got 4 big ass juice flow holes at the bottom. I mean, it does a really good job, guys. It really does. Well, you know, this thing's yeah, I'd go get it. If something happened to it, I'd go get it. They've got a smaller version for the 18650 models. I just like the fact that this is a big one. The other one is not the BFT, it's just the Ohmega Alpha. They do have one that's a hybrid model for a hybrid mech mod that they sell. You can use it on any hybrid you want, I suppose. But it doesn't have a 510 pin, it just screws directly into the deal. There you go. It is what it is. If I lost it today, I'd go get another one. Price point on this, it's a pretty good price. It's in between 35 to 55 bucks, depending on where you get it. I'll put links down in the description. I'll also put links down in the description for Johnny Copper Vapor Company. Go get you some of the e-liquid, the blueberry crunch glazed donut. It's good stuff. Good e-liquid, guys. Hey guys, that's about all I got for you today. This Ohmega Alpha BFT tank is a winner in my opinion. You guys be careful out there. Keep it shiny side up, guys. Don't forget, vape on, okay?